Well, I was hoping to do this sooner than I'm doing it now, but in case you can't tell from my voice, I got sick. I'm still not 100%, but I should be okay to try and get through this game while recapping Denver's Amazing Art Expo. So my trip started on Thursday before the event. So I get to the airport, just waiting for the plane, and there were people playing solitaire on the counter, which I wasn't expecting to see solitaire of any kind. We get on the plane. I have a pretty late boarding position because I was flying Southwest and they do the thing where you just take whatever seat you want. So
you are brave to set your sights on such formidable foes.
So I get on the plane and I do a quick assessment. Sorry, there was a lot of dialogue there. So I get on the plane, I do a quick assessment of who's in front of me. Because I'm doing the plane thing where I check for basically children under the age of 3. There weren't that many on this flight, but I was also assessing like who would be like the least of pain in the ass to sit next to or sit between, because it was basically just center seats the rest of the way. Thank you, H2O Masked Man, for the 32 months of Tier 1 subbing. Scooty, please. And I'm trying. So I see these two completely unassuming looking guys. And I say, fuck it, I'll sit between them. And that wound up being a good call, because one of them would just slept the entire flight. The other one was just watching shit on his phone the entire flight. No one really bothered each other. I just sat between them and I listened to music, dozed off a couple of times, and also did a couple quests on Monster Hunter Rise, because I'm still trying to do some quest completion with that. Now, I'd heard that... Oh, jeez. I didn't notice its health.
Tell me what you need. Did you make that armor yourself? What was that?
Ready when you are.
So we're getting into the Denver area, and I'd heard that at some point there were storms going through the area, but they were supposed to clear up by the time that we got there. And I glance out the window near my side, and I see lightning in the clouds. It's a very different sensation seeing lightning when you're just on the ground versus seeing lightning in the clouds as you are flying past them. But fortunately, they were far enough away that they weren't really affecting our flight. So we're still flying into Denver, and I just happened to glance over the seat in front of me, and there's this guy in the window seat who's on his phone, playing solitaire.
Tell me.
Like, I know solitaire is the thing that I bust out when, like, shit's not happening in a game. But I was not expecting solitaire to come up once, let alone multiple times within a few hours span for this trip. So we get off the plane, and we're at gate like 50 something. Denver's airport is absolutely massive. There's like, I don't know whether that or the Atlanta airport is the bigger airport, but both of them are huge enough that the gates go up into the 50s, possibly 60s. And they also have trams that run between all the different terminals. So I had to ride the terminal to... Wait, ride the terminal. Damn it. So I had to ride the tram to the like main building to get to the baggage check. Or like baggage claim, I should say. I find my bag. I was arriving slightly after when like Casey and Kira and Jerry the OG, who was also coming on this trip, had arrived themselves. They had already left. So I just had to get a lift because everybody else went to the hotel.
Now, tell me.
I eventually get to the hotel, and we didn't really have much in the way of food plans, but I noticed, as the lift was pulling up, directly next to the hotel is an International House of Pancakes. It is less than 5 minutes walking away.
Time to die.
The IHOP became a frequent stopping point for me and some of the others when we just needed food. So we all get into the hotel, play a little bit of Bloody Roar 3 because Casey brought their PS2 and Bloody Roar 3, some Tony Hawk games. I also brought some games of my own, but we'll get to those later.
Command me.
Tell me what you need.
Also, I should probably actually play this game.
Love thicken my skin. Now it is mine. Your best cannot match my wants. I have no more time for you.
Aye?
No more
Ready
games.
for orders.
Time to die.
I beg your pardon.
So, Friday comes. Because of the time difference, I am 2 hours behind what I'm used to. So my body wakes up at around what would have been 10 a.m. But we're on mountain time, so I am up at 8 in the morning with no alarm. Now, the event, I should specify,
Die.
takes place within the hotel that everybody is staying
When
at.
you are.
On your word.
This is the end of you.
So, us getting to the event basically just takes like a minute or two. The elevators didn't pose much of a problem for this event, so we were able to get to the event, to the room, really quickly whenever we needed to.
Ready.
Speak.
Here to serve.
What should I do?
How embarrassing. Aye.
Yes?
Aye?
Here. What a display.
Here.
Now, I mentioned I was up at 8. The event didn't start until 5 p.m. So we have a lot of time to kill.
I see a lesson is required.
And for that time, we started digging into some of the games that I brought.
I salute you.
One of the games I brought was Vampire Knight. It's a rail shooter. Namco was involved. I think it was one of those games that was used as the basis for something that eventually went into the House of the Dead games. I don't know for sure. But I played through it myself, and it has some of the voice acting of all time.
On your word.
You have had your turn. Now it is mine. Ready? You poor unlearned puppet.
But eventually, I play all the way through it. I also experiment with some of the extra modes that were available specifically on the console version.
Blood.
And let's just say that's a game that could very badly use a redub. I mean, there are some things that a dub will not fix with that game, but it would be an improvement.
Here.
Now, in what may have been another case of, like, the people in charge simply not knowing what the event would attract as far as people at particular times, at some point, everyone heads downstairs looking for coffee. There is a cafe inside the hotel, and it's not open.
Bores me.
Keep in mind, this was around like noon. And there were, in fact, people who were already there gathering for the event. So, I mean, they were missing out on business. So the cafe place isn't open, but there is a fridge near the front desk that has like sodas and waters and those bottled Frappuccino things. One person goes to get a frap from the fridge, and we very quickly realize the fridge is not turned on. So anything you're getting from it is just lukewarm, and you have to take it upstairs, throw it in the fridge, and wait.
Yep.
Okay, let me actually try to do something productive here.
Yeah? Away I go.
Command me.
Ready.
After that, we head back upstairs, and we swap out the game. Casey has a beta version of Tony Hawk's Underground. This beta version includes a level that was never completed and did not show up in Underground. It's Australia. So it has like
We do not
the Opera House, the Sydney Opera House. You can see it in part of the level. So I'm just skidding around wherever, exploring around the boundaries of the stage. I'm playing as Mike Vallely, and eventually I get him completely stuck in the corner. When I say stuck, I mean he's like right in the corner and is like infinitely bouncing back and forth. I just leave him like that. Because sometimes when you just have something like that happen continuously, it starts affecting like the model or the physics or something. And in this case, Mike starts bouncing back and forth so violently that he starts flying. And he's got his arms out as he's doing this. To borrow a Soundgarden line. He's in the Jesus Christ pose, as he is continuously getting raptured by the stage up and up and up. And he goes up so far that he actually hits the limit of the skybox.
Aye.
On your word.
Yes?
I would like to just kill one of them outright.
Here.
Ready.
Ready.
Tell me what you need.
Oh, I'm gonna have to math real quick. Hold on.
Tell me.
Here.
Ready?
What should I do?
That'd be 6, 4, that's 10. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna work out.
Command me.
What is that?
Now we're talking. Aye. I'm gonna beat you like an anvil.
What was that?
So before the event starts, we decide to go out to a nearby mall. And in the process, we get into the elevator, and the elevator has these screens in it that show like the time, the date, the temperature outside, alongside a couple of like trivia or news things. And I'm noticing that the time is wrong, the date is wrong, the temperature is very wrong. But it's only for one of the elevators. One of the elevators, all of this is correct. And for the other elevator, like everything thinks that we're like 3 months back in time. So we hitch a ride, head out to, I think it was called the Park Meadows Mall. And, grab a bit of food there. I didn't really have a breakfast, so I said Cinnabon, close enough. Hit up a Hot Topic, a Vans, a Zoomies. And we did not realize that Vans and Zoomies would come back into the trip later in a big way. There was also a Lush store, which has like soaps and scents and stuff like that. And they have this big sign out front that says Fighting Animal Testing. But the way that they wrote it, in my head, it was Fighting Animal Testing. No, wait, I did that wrong. They want you to think it's like Fighting Animal Testing. But in my head, it was Fighting Animal Testing. As in, testing how well animals fight.
On your word.
Ready for
Eventually, we end up walking outside, and that's when I first really notice, because when it was night that I couldn't see this, the Rocky Mountains. I mean, I'd seen them before, like when I went to Summer Games Done Quick in 2014, but that was at a venue that was like more toward the outskirts of Denver, and these were much closer than where I was. We all pile into a car and we meet up with a friend of Casey and Kira's at this Italian place called Crenelli's.
Command me.
And I will say, It is a very solid Italian place. I recommend the lasagna.
Ready when you are.
At your command.
You had but wheat before the
Yes?
What should I do?
Ready.
Tell me.
On your word.
Alright, let's see how we do.
Go on then. Make your pathetic attack.
Ready when you are.
On your word.
Ready.
After the Italian, we head back to the hotel/venue. And we get into the event space. And it is probably the smallest event space among the various cons and expos I've been to over the years. It is basically one hallway of the hotel, and then there's this one side room where they have some of the art on display. In the hallway, there are some tables with like art displays, and then like an authentication table, and a place where you can purchase some of the art that's there. Because the art is in the form of paper prints and on canvas paintings. And then there's a larger room across the hall from the smaller room. And that's where you have like the larger open space. I say larger, but it's roughly the size of like... Ah, geez, I'm bad with numbers. If I had to guess, like this would be considered a very small dealer's space for a traditional convention. It's like someone took the exhibit hall and then cut it in half and then cut it in half again. Like your typical big exhibit hall that a convention would use. It was like a quarter of the size. And in that room, there are like more tables along the outside and then rows of tables in between where more art is being shown off. And I will say that the art that's being shown off is entirely nerd stuff. Because it's Halloween, there's one line of art that's just all about like horror movie characters. And then there's another row that has a bunch of like Disney princess stuff. There's one that's entirely Alice in Wonderland. There's one that's Pokemon stuff. There's one that's Star Wars and just various themes. But the art for all of these has like either a humorous or ironic twist most of the time. I remember there's like this one line of art that was just like DC heroes and villains on the toilet. So there's a picture of like Batman on the toilet reading a newspaper. There were like spooky Pokemon card paintings in the back. And I mean for characters like Pokemon other than who you would expect that from. There was one artist, I can't remember what his name was, but he did like charcoal art. It was entirely black and white. And And he did a variety of different things with that. He did Pokemon with it. He did JoJo's Bizarre Adventure with that. Just all sorts of different shows and games where he experimented with that. So for the layout of this event, there is a back wall opposite the doors, and there were, let's see, I'm trying to count in my head. 7 tables. The 3 tables to the left are voice actors. 3 tables to the right are voice actors. And right in between them is a guy named Christopher Clark. He is not a voice actor. He is a painter. Also, he apparently flew in from France for this event.
Here.
He also used to live in the Denver area, so that probably played a role in why he decided to come here. But he wasn't just there to sell his art. When someone would get a painting on canvas, they could take it to him, and he had an easel set up, he had paints and brushes set up, and he would like add little extra touches to the art. And then he'd let it dry, and then the person would take it home. He was really chill the whole weekend. Like, I'm probably going to look up more of his stuff later. And he's another person who will paint stuff that involves stuff from other media. Because, like, he is right next to Casey's table. And Casey, obviously, voiced Shinji and Ava at one point. And this guy goes, "Oh, you know, I actually have some Ava art." And he pulls out these art prints, and it's like the various units from Ava standing in a cityscape. And we're like, oh, that's cool. And then, like, Casey signs a couple of them, gives them to him. Now, there's another guy that's helping run the table with him, who is dressed as Blade. And it's actually, like, a really good Blade. He had the fangs and everything. And I saw him posing at various points with people around the con and around the table. Expo. It's an expo. But he also has this container with him. And he's giving out lollipops to people. And there are these, like, little red lollipops that have a bat on them. Credit for being thematically appropriate, I guess. Now, as for who the other VAs were at this event, and I'm probably going to forget one. Let's see if I can remember. There was Trina Nishimura. There was Mark Whitten, who I'm surprised every time like someone like Mark Whitten remembers who I am, because I'm no one. There was Keith Silverstein. There was Christina V, and all the way at one end was Bryce Pappenbrook. So while things are still getting set up, say hi to Mark Whitten, say hi to Keith as well, and told him, like, just offhand, hey, I liked what you did in Cryptmaster as King Vitus.
Yeah.
And he's like, wait a minute. Is that the black and white one? And I'm like, yeah. And apparently there was something with how that game was put together that he didn't like, which is there's a point where his character does a diss trap rap. Yeah, let me try that again. Diss track rap. Okay, got it that time. But apparently, whoever was the audio engineer that put that together fucked up the rhythm of it. So his voice isn't like really in sync with it. I thought it still worked because there's a comedic slant to the game anyway. So, like, this bard being slightly off with his rhythm, like, didn't particularly stand out to me. But apparently that's one thing he looked at and went, oh god, now people are gonna think I can't rap. So the time comes, attendees get let in. And I should note, this was a free admission event, which is something I had not done before. Regular admission was free. There was also a VIP thing you could get, and that would give you access to extra prints at a VIP price, and it would also let you get in early to scour the art and get autographs from any of the guests. By the time the regular attendees were allowed in, the space got really loud. There was something about the acoustics in the room that just having, like, even, say, like 5 dozen people in the room made it get really loud. But there was something else that wasn't helping with that. Because there was a certain guy there who was running the event. And there's a speaker set up on the opposite wall of the autograph tables. And this guy just starts playing music over it. And it's very random music. I'm pretty sure it was just whatever this guy's regular ass playlist was, because we hear Staying Alive, People Are Strange, Frank Sinatra starts playing, a cover of the DuckTales theme, Rock You Like a Hurricane, Lord of the Rings music, stuff from the Jungle Book, Johnny Cash. At one point, Come and Get Your Love starts playing over the PA, and I'm like, hey, that's from my wedding. But on top of that, the MC would keep interrupting the music to tell everyone like how the art expo worked. The way it worked was you would grab art from the table and then go outside and then pay for it at the table like right outside the doors. But he kept reminding people about this over and over and over and over. So I mentioned it was a free event, and as a result, attendance was pretty good.
Yep. What should I do?
Ready.
You know nothing.
That's a lot of stuff.
Wait, the dead characters just taunted one of my players. Anyway.
Aye.
Ready.
Are you confused? Well struck.
Okay, good thing I did that. Now, at one point, the MC gets on the microphone and announces to everybody, it is Mark Whitten's birthday. And what resulted was everyone attempting to sing happy birthday to Mark. I say attempting because not everyone was quite in sync on it.
Resistance offends me. Aye.
Now, as this is another one of those events, I was wearing one of my usual shirts,
Can you?
namely the Salad Fingers shirt. And again, got like half a dozen people who realized what it was, including Christina V. So that made me particularly happy. But another person who was happy with Christina V was Jerry the OG.
Pigs to the slaughter.
He had been trying to meet Christina V for a while, both to get stuff signed and to get something to her. And that something was a t-shirt. It had a graphic that looked like the Shantae logo on it, except instead of Shantae, it said Christina. So he was able to get that to her, and it was a pretty nice moment. So the signing happens, and eventually the event shuts down for the day. We head back up to the room, and I dig into my little album of PS2 discs that I brought. I threw some pretty random... sorry. I'm not 100%. I brought some pretty random things for this trip. And for some reason, I said, you know what I should bring? NBA Ballers.
Tell me.
Anyone who's familiar with my Patreon knows that NBA Ballers has been one of the recommended games that I review. So I pop this in and I play what's called the Rags to Riches mode. You have to create a character for it. And I create this utter monstrosity of a character. He's got this really tiny head with an afro, and then everything else on his body's like super big. And the idle animations show the character like dancing around on screen. And it was a total monstrosity, an abomination, an affront to God. So after messing around with that, we go to IHOP again. I think that was the night that I had an omelet. Can't be 100% sure. But beyond the food, we go outside of the IHOP and see just this stream of water shooting up into the air and then almost hitting this car that's parked in the parking lot. Apparently, it was a busted sprinkler head. And when I say busted, I mean the sprinkler head got like completely decapitated and there was just water shooting up in the air. But I was really confused why there was a sprinkler there, because it was this tiny ass traffic island. But I was confused why the sprinkler was there, because like there were 3 sprinklers for this tiny traffic island that's maybe 12 feet long and 2.5 feet wide. Just seems like overkill putting multiple sprinklers on there.
Here.
Here.
Well, anyway.
On your word.
Ready.
Tell me what you need.
Okay.
Ready for orders.
Yeah?
Yep.
I don't think I can do this. No, I can't.
What's your command?
Why are we idle?
Here.
Tell me.
Just getting down as far as possible.
Berlin blind you!
Ready.
So that is the end of Friday. Saturday, again, I'm awake before everybody else. So I just say, fuck it. Go through my morning routine. I'm ready before anyone is even awake.
Won't be morning for you.
How distasteful. Please do not think this fool represents all elven kind. She was a renegade who believed all other races to be slaves, and herself and her friends to be gods. Now please, let us free these poor children.
Fuck them kids. So, while everyone else is still doing their thing, it's like a 9:15 in the morning. I just decide to head downstairs, just for a little bit. I check out the event space, aka the hallway, and there's nobody there. 2 guests who are staying at the hotel just completely walk through the entire thing and out the doors at the other side. I walk outside to look at,
I cannot tell what it indicates, however. Perhaps Rabbi will know.
Gaufroy. Again.
This Gaufroy is known to us, a human sorcerer. What could convince the bigots of the court of Yew and Willow to take orders and insults from a human? The prize they seek must be great indeed. We must bring this note to Rabbi.
Okay, I think it's done. So I also end up walking outside for a little bit. Taking the foliage, taking the highway right next to the hotel. Denver wasn't particularly cold, but it did get pretty damn windy.
Really want to keep us. I want to go home.
Even now they fear me. The exiles have succeeded. Those that need my help the most now fear me the most.
Ungrateful.
So eventually I head back up, everybody gets ready. We head back down, and the line to get in is long. And I should note there's one line for regular free entry, and there's another line for VIPs. Apparently people were seeing the line to get in for free, and the sheer length of it convinced people, you know, maybe I'll just pay a little extra for VIP. But they couldn't let everybody in at once because, you know, fire codes. You can only have so many people in there at one time. Now, one thing I should have specified with the music at the event that was being played over the speakers was the volume of it. It was pretty damn loud, which was really bad for the people who were at the autograph tables, because you would have like a person sitting at the table and a person standing in front of it. There's only like 3 feet between them, and they can't hear each other. And this was starting to bother several of the VAs, because they had to keep raising their voice. If they're doing that the entire weekend, they could risk, like, losing their voice. and some of them work immediately after the event. But there's nothing being played at first, and we're like, okay, maybe they learned. Maybe they learned not to do that. 10 minutes later, the music kicks on, and I see one of the VAs immediately bolt from their table and go up to the guy playing the music. And then, like a little bit later, the music does get turned down.
Them things dragged down my old dad at a gallop. Ashamed to say, I kept running.
So the day is going about as normal. Saturday is notably busier than Friday was. And this really unassuming older man walks up to the table. He doesn't quite understand that, like, this is a table for a voice actor who's, like, signing prints of the characters they voiced. Although, in fairness to him, it's an art expo, and many other people didn't get the memo on that. Part of it is because the banner that Casey had, the part that said voice actor was in fairly small print, and the banner had like settled in a way that it wrinkled and you could not see the voice actor part.
Ringneck, Dalglish, Lady, all returned. Some good news at last. Thank you for helping them, friend.
So he's like asking some questions about like the characters that he's seeing on the table. At some point, I can't remember how, the conversation mentions skateboarding. And it turns out this older guy here at the table is he's Lynn Cooper. He's a skateboarder, videographer. He was skating with Tony Hawk in the Bones Brigade days. He knew and worked with like Rodney Mullen, Andy Anderson. I have a Waltz skateboard, a freestyle skateboard. Waltz is run by a skater named Mike Osterman. This dude was Mike Osterman's first sponsor. So everything that's coming out of this guy's mouth about like his life and times in skateboarding, both Casey and I are just staring slack-jawed. Because like, who fucking expects a guy like this to show up at their table for the Amazing Art Expo? Even more impressive, despite his age, he still skates. And not only does he still skate, there was a freestyle contest where he thought that he was going to be invited to judge. He was actually invited to compete. And when he competed, out of 39 skaters, he placed second. So not only does he still skate, he's apparently still really fucking good at it.
What did you discover then? More trouble?
Mine was a sad business, Rabbi. A gang of trow sellswords killed some dockmen and made it look like well-bottomed trow did it.
So eventually, he calls up his friend's family on the phone because they have some kids that are familiar with Pokemon. And Casey has a conversation over the phone with those kids entirely as Raichu. So the only thing they're saying is, Raichu. I can't do the voice, especially not with my throat as wrecked as it is. But they're just saying, Raichu. Raichu. Stuff like that.
I found the dog who was attacking my clients, but sadly, not before he'd killed poor Paladin Tavish. Murdered them disguised as me.
So after that guy blew our fucking minds, a little more time goes by, and I notice that the speakers that were at the back of the room are being moved to the front of the room. And apparently, they were going to interview the voice actor guests on the floor. Which is something that none of the guests knew was going to happen.
And I found the missing children I sought. But to my dismay, their kidnapper was indeed an elf. One of the exiled court, impersonating me.
So some of the, voice actor guests would step out in front of their tables and take a couple questions. Some of them were like, fuck it, I'm not getting out from behind my table for this. And they would just answer them at their table.
There's no denying it now. This is all a campaign to ruin the reputation of every elf, dwarf, trow, and practitioner in Caith. But why?
So then that happens. The speakers get moved back to their usual spot on the opposite wall. And then shortly thereafter, dude gets back on the mic and says they're having a cosplay contest. In the same room. Basically directly in front of him. Which means we have more music. I think he was playing like 2 Unlimited. And a whole lot more of the MC talking. Which means that for this entire cosplay contest, where he's trying to read out people's names and who they're cosplaying as and is getting a bunch of the names wrong, it is practically impossible to have a conversation at the autograph tables.
There's more. We found notes on the troublemakers. Orders from Gaufroy.
And a map. Show him, hero.
Gaufroy. Isn't that the sorcerer who tried to turn Mage Alguin against us all? And now he's giving orders to the court of you and Willow? That's an evil alliance if ever there was.
And all I could think at that time was that image of the lady with the sign saying, "Want me to kill him." Just saying that to Casey. But eventually the cosplay contest ends, and then he starts blasting music again.
Let's see this map. Can't make out the writing. It's Kyler Ann's tower. Mage Alguin makes his home in its cellars. And these arrows. An attack?
More time goes by. Even more people do not realize that the people on the autograph tables, except for Christopher Clark, are voice actors. So they're just looking at the art prints and then not realizing, oh, this person voices these characters. Now, aside from...
They couldn't turn them. Maybe they're out to end them this time.
Now, aside from the music, there's some other noise happening in the room. And it's not just the conversations of everyone who's coming in and out of the exhibit space. To one side, you have Bryce Papenbrook, who is screaming character lines at regular intervals. I don't know how he didn't lose his voice. Because he's doing this constantly, and his line was the longest of anybody at the event. There was one time that I looked over toward his table, and he did not have a line that was going out the door. And meanwhile, Mark Whitten is on the opposite side, and every once in a while, you hear him just blurt out, "Tasty!" Apparently that's something that his Demon Slayer character says. But the thing is, it sounds like he's saying Casey. So every time that happens, Casey's going, huh? Damn it, Mark.
That'd be a disaster.
Indeed. Alguin is Scara Bray's greatest scholar. If they were to kill him...
If Alguin's in trouble, all four of you should go to his aid, but I need to send someone to warn the dwarves of what's happening here. Our friend Tanbarin volunteered to return home to warn the elves, but no one has yet agreed to go to the Hernhold. Hero, I'd send you, but the dwarves don't trust them they don't know. The others, though, they've all been to Canestia before.
I'll go if you ask. I left the Hernhold for a reason. I don't long to go back.
I too will go if asked, though Alguin is a dear friend, and I would go to him first.
I'm with the lady. If you want me to go, I'll go. But I've been through too much with Alguin to turn my back on him.
I canna make the decision, friend. Who would you have at your side? Tell me who should go, and the other two will come with you to help Alguin. Very well. It's you, Dalglish. Go swiftly and stay safe.
I will not fail. Best of luck to you all, and give my regards to Alguin.
I hope that's not a mistake.
So long, Dalglish.
Farewell, dearest Dalglish.
Stay strong.
A summer's day in Scara Bray. Became a wintry night
Alright.
We must hurry. Alguin cannot be lost.
on the snow. Bright
So we head back to the room. Casey and Kira already had plans to go to a place called Casa Bonita with a bunch of friends. Casa Bonita is... It's a restaurant of a sort. It's one that kind of got made famous through South Park. And it was, like, kind of run down, but it got restored, and now it's this huge thing, and Casey went there dressed as Princess Kenny.
I feel
Now-
the attack has already begun.
Now the thing is, Casa Bonita is reservation only, and you have to have a reservation like
I can't
months
believe
in
those
advance.
Tales of elves stealing folk from their homes.
All races have their criminals. The tales are not untrue, just not representative.
And yet, those are the tales that persist.
We always believe the worst of those we name other.
So because of that, Casey and Kira and a few other people can go. Jerry and I are staying behind. But it's not like we're starving or anything. We just like ordered a pizza and played a variety of games. What were 3? I brought an Outrun game.
Crux! It's Alguin's familiar.
So we just did that until they got back. And when they did get back, they were...
Crux! Is Mage Alguin all right?
Mage Alguin is besieged by fiends! Hurry, this way!
And when they did get back, everyone was so exhausted by that point that just said, fuck it, we're going to sleep. Alright, and that takes us to Sunday, the final day of the event.
Wait a minute, wait a minute. I know a song. I'll teach it to you. An old dwarf song. I'm Crux, by the way. Mage Alguin's familiar. The song is called The Stone Remembers. It goes like this. There, good as new. Now follow me, but be careful. The place is crawling with goblins, trow, and evil men.
Never mind that. I see a rock here. That means there's a hiding place somewhere. Oh, but where? Wait. Ah. You almost foiled me, colorblindness. Alright, so Sunday, I'm gonna do a quick equipment check for Crux.
What can I do?
Sunday, I wake up around 9, and this time, everyone else is kind of waking up around the same time as me. We head down at about 10, and there are already a few people in line, even though the event doesn't really open for like an hour and a half yet. We get inside, and it's just past 11, which is when VIPs were let in. And Bryce Papenbrook's line is already out the door. Now, there was something that was kind of confusing with the setup that they had for this. And that something was, so we had our regular art prints, and the way that works is you just pay at the table, get the print and the signature, and you go. They decided that they would take some of the art from the tables that loosely connected with what we were doing and put that on the voice actors' tables as well. So you would have to pay at the table for the signature, but then also pay outside for the art print itself. Which was a weird and unnecessarily complicated system that whenever we tried explaining it to whoever walked up to the table, they just said, never mind. Alright, let me see. Okay, I already have that. Of course it wants me to return now. Taking long con with that. Alright, well, I guess I'm going back. So Sunday's going on. Sunday is still kind of busy. Not as busy as Saturday, but still relatively busy. At one point, you just take a bathroom break. And the bathroom is out in the hallway. And, hello, who are you? Okay.
Hello, youngin'.
So we head to the bathroom. I'm standing at the urinal. And as soon as I start using it, there's a guy in one of the stalls who just lets it rip. And then he does it again.
Admiring the standing
And again.
Well, they ain't just to look at. At least they didn't used to be. There's circles just like these all over, Keith. And in my day, if you stood in one and whistled the right tune, why, you already know the whistle that wakes up the stones. It's the same as got you into the Adventurers Guild. We adventurers took it for our own when everyone else forgot it.
And it's important to note at this point that I am a child. So as this is going on, I'm standing at the urinal trying really, really hard not to laugh. In fact, I'm pretty sure it was more than one person who was doing it. There were multiple stall doors that were closed, and it didn't sound like it was all coming from the same spot. But I hurriedly wash my hands, dry them off, bolt out the door, and then just start laughing. Right, I'm gonna head back to camp first.
Don't go looking for trouble.
Torn apart, right in front of me. I didn't know whether to shit or scream. I think I did both.
Okay. More time goes by, and there's this older lady who walks up to the table. And she's looking at the prints. She's another person who doesn't realize that one of the people sitting behind the table is the voice actor for these characters. And she also kind of didn't know what was going on with other parts of the expo. And at one point she, in conversation, just admits, like, she's just someone who, and this is an exact quote, don't know shit about what's going on. So that was kind of amusing, but what wasn't amusing is that the guy got back on the mic again, and I should note, he was doing announcements like every 10 to 15 minutes. It felt like actually shorter than that sometimes. But because it was Sunday, guess what he was saying in almost every announcement? That's right. Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. But never mind that shit, because he decided, but never mind that shit, because it was time for another cosplay contest. Yes, a second cosplay contest. This time, instead of him introducing everybody, he just passed the mic off to whatever contestant was next in line and had them introduce themselves, which led to some people who were like a little too shy on the microphone, and like we couldn't hear them over the 2 Unlimited that was blasting through the speakers again. It also led to a guy cosplaying as the Terminator who did an Arnold Schwarzenegger voice. See, would any of this be considered an upgrade? a minor upgrade, but I don't know, that's kind of rich for my blood.
Eh?
Thanks for looking.
So I checked the clock at one point. It's about an hour 15 minutes to close.
Welcome, friend.
And that was the first point at which I definitively saw the end of Bryce Papenbrook's line.
We need it.
Papenbrook. Damn it.
What do you...
Oh. Don't mind if I do. They put that in my chat twice. Asshole. Oh, now I gotta rearrange my windows. Hold on. Okay. So, more time goes by. Take another bathroom break. Because when you were at altitude, one of the things that I heard was, be sure to drink plenty of water. And we were. Thus, another bathroom break. This time, I can see that there are a couple people in the stalls, but we don't hear anything. So, I use the urinal, I wash my hands, and it's as I am grabbing some like paper towels to dry off my hands that this guy just unleashes. Like, you know the sound of like an almost empty bottle of syrup? That's the sound that came from this guy's stall. And that was... And the moment that happened, it was like a fight or flight response. Where I just bolted for the door, and as the door is closing, I hear like the beginnings of what I can only describe as a squeaker. Of all the prevailing themes that could have happened for this weekend, shitting was not one that I would have predicted.
Here.
So eventually, this show is like finally starting to wrap up. And the thing is, I really didn't have much time to look at any of the art myself. When I finally did, there was actually something that caught my eye. It was from the row of Alice in Wonderland art pieces, and it was specifically one for American McGee's Alice. Which, by the way, EA, what the fuck? Why have you not re-released that? Like, the only way you could get that game now is basically by pirating it. It was only re-released as part of, like, a collector's edition of Madness Returns, and it was never offered for sale separately by itself. So either you hunt down a physical edition, or you just pirate it. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. There was a piece in, like, the art show, specifically for American McGee's Alice. Now, normally they have like the canvas version on display and then the prints laying down in front of it. I was just going to grab a print, but they were all gone. I walk outside and I'm looking around the VIP area, and I notice that there were actually some prints, but they were being packed up. So I find one of the people helping organize events and ask, like, I was working one of the autograph tables the entire time. Would it be possible for me to still buy one of these? And I'm told to ask, like, the guy in charge of the entire show.
That's an offering statue. Used to be used to placate the gods. Now every 2-bit sorcerer uses them to lock secret doors and so on. Put the right things in and ta-da! The trick, of course, is figuring out the right things to put in. Which means we'll be here all day.
So eventually I do track down the showrunner, and he explains that there was actually a fuck-up with the prints. Specifically, it like cut off part of the top of the work, so part of Alice's head was actually like cut off from the piece. And like, honestly, I didn't really care. I still wanted it. But he says, well, the canvas one doesn't have that problem. It's the entire piece. And but then he says, well, how about this? You could get the canvas version, but the canvas versions were like way more expensive. They were like almost $200, and I couldn't afford that. And I still can't explain to you why he did this, but he offered it for half. And I'm like, what the fuck, really? But then I was like, wait a minute. There's no way in hell I'll be able to ship that back safely. Because, like, I'm like 1,000 miles away from the venue. And he's like, it's okay, we can just ship it. Oh. Okay. So that's coming in the mail at some point. That really made my day. He absolutely did not have to do that.
What are we doing?
But I'm very appreciative of him for doing that.
The master trapped them there.
Now the thing is, when you buy one of these works, I mentioned that like Christopher Clark will touch it up a bit. So I bring this back to him. He was starting to close down. And then he's like, oh shit. Get the stuff set back up. And like the first thing I said when I walked up to him was, I'm sorry, but here's this thing to embellish. And there was actually somebody else who came up to the table as he was doing this. And they were also looking to get one of his works. And it just comes up in conversation that, like, there's a photo on the banner behind him that shows him painting with his right hand. But when he's doing the embellishing on my painting, he's doing it with his left hand. Turns out he is ambidextrous. But he does favor his left. He's lefty dominant, and he actually had something to say about that. I wrote it down here. Everyone is born left-handed. No, wait, shit, I got that wrong. Everyone is born right-handed, but only the talented few can overcome that. Well, I wouldn't say I'm talented, but I did overcome that, so I'm part of the few. Okay, how in the hell am I going to approach this?
Yes?
Oh, not having crowd control is going to make this suck.
On your word.
What?
Ready for orders.
Yes?
Aye. Time to hide.
You're in my way.
Hiding.
Yeah, this is gonna suck.
Command me.
So once the event's over, both Casey and I head up to the hotel room and we just crash for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. By the time we regain consciousness, it's dinner time. And dinner time means more IHOP.
What do you want me to do?
Now, eventually, once we're back from IHOP, we set up the PS2 again. I brought a copy of Gran Turismo 3. So we just went into arcade mode and did a couple of head-to-head matches. At one point we had a Miata match. We both picked Miatas, just different colors, and then I think we raced on, like, Trial Mountain? There was another race where I was a Sylvia, another one where I was an RX-7. It was very much me picking cars that A, my wife likes, and B, show up in Initial D. Time goes by, other people are in the hotel room now, namely me, Casey, Kira, and Jerry. And Jerry just kind of, like, conked out while we were messing around with Bloody Roar 3. We wound up with a Busuzima versus Busuzima match in the Dino Museum. And and we noticed that like if you move the camera a certain way, you can kind of see inside the head of one of the dinosaurs. So we were trying to position the camera for that to get the most disturbing shot we could of that. And then we also realized when Busuzima does his, I think it's up punch move, where he like turns around and laughs, it's possible to spam that. And spam that we did. We both just start doing that over and over and over and over and over.
Ready.
And as we're doing this, we're occasionally looking back to Jerry, who is in one of the beds under the covers, turned away from us. And we decided, and like, the gremlin inside each of us is like, let's see how far we can go with this. So we're doing that. Casey gets Kira to start doing the input for one of the Busazimas, and then starts making like the armpit fart noises, but with their knees? And then... and then... Casey gets back on the controller, starts doing that, and Kira starts playing, like, cow noises over her phone. And it's just this cacophony of noise. And eventually Jerry just, like, bolts up out of bed, like, stop! He had apparently been listening for a while, but just hoped that we would stop. But this went on for like 45 minutes.
Ready, I suppose?
Yeah?
Speak.
Neturior, Saint Prudential, let us sit. Break their bones.
Hey, Lone and Kane. Just recapping an event that I was at. And that takes us into Monday, because this was an event where we were actually able to stay the night that the event ended. Now, I should note, Monday, housekeeping showed up at 9 a.m. This is only noteworthy because that was the first time housekeeping showed up the entire time we were there. They didn't show up Friday. They didn't show up Saturday. They didn't show up Sunday. The only reason I wasn't bothered by it was because I brought my own towel there. And also, I think it was Saturday evening, we had to go down to the front desk and get towels ourselves. So Monday is the day that Jerry flies back. And that's happening sometime in the afternoon. So we head down, and we've got all our like bags and stuff, because our plan is to check out from the hotel and get a ride to Union Station, because Union Station has a rail that goes straight to the airport. And then also at Union Station, there's like a bus area nearby. We were going to catch a bus and go to another location and stay at another hotel. So we're down in the lobby of the hotel we just checked out of and trying to organize a ride. We're trying to do this with Lyft. And Lyft is not responding at all. And we're like, what the hell is going on? Because like I'm trying stuff on my phone too. It's not working for any of us. And then I go, well, what about other applications? I pull up a web browser and I'm able to go to websites just fine. As it turned out, Amazon's servers went down. And when Amazon servers went down, you quickly realized what other things were hosted by Amazon servers. And one of them is Lyft. also on Amazon servers. United Airlines, which is what Jerry was using to fly back. So we scramble for a bit. One of us installs Uber on a phone and manages to get a ride through that, because that is not on Amazon servers. We still managed to get to Union Station in plenty of time for the airport shuttle. Again, I take a bit of a bathroom break, and I am not a public bathroom aficionado. However, I thought we had progressed beyond the point of having urinals that go all the way to the floor. I also thought we progressed past the point of having sinks where the space between the end of the faucet and the bottom of the sink is so small that you cannot have your hands vertical. Also, one of the urinals was making cartoon shitting sounds. I don't know what that was about. So in Union Station, there are some places that you can grab, like coffee and food, and I got some food myself, and we're sitting in like the big open like lounge area of Union Station eating. And we noticed that there's a few cops on site. We see a couple people with like really high-grade cameras. We're like, okay, not sure what's going on here. And then we see a big-ass cart with, like, a really high-grade video camera. We see dudes setting up lighting rigs. There's someone with a clothes steamer and a rack. I realize, oh shit, they're setting up to film something here. And as I have that realization, we hear someone who introduces themselves as the assistant GM asking about turning off certain lights in the station. We're like, what the fuck are they filming here? I never did find out what they were filming, but... yeah, they were also, like, moving some of the benches around. They were telling certain people to get out of certain areas where they were planning to film. Fortunately, we were just far away enough that that wasn't an issue.
Ready.
What do you want me to do?
On your word.
No neckans to firmat!
So before Jerry goes on the, like, little rail that goes to the airport, he heads down with us to, like, the bus terminal area. And we, use one of the bathrooms there. Jerry heads into one of the stalls, and it's the kind of stall that has a bunch of stuff, like, written or carved into the door. And the stall he went into had the following phrase written in it, or on it. Want a good blowjob? Call, and then I'm not going to say the number. So he takes the rail to the airport. Casey, Kira, and I head down to the bus terminal, and we get on this bus. Said bus is going to a place called Fair Play. Now, Fairplay is like close to an hour and a half away from Denver. And Denver is known for being like, quote unquote, a mile high above sea level, 5,280-ish feet. Fairplay is significantly higher than that. And the bus is going toward the mountains and kind of goes up through the mountains. It's going up and up and up. I mean, I've flown over the Rockies before, but I've never been near/in them before. And as the elevation's going up, just like an airplane taking off, my ears start popping. Now, there is a stop along the way in a place called Pine Junction. And in Pine Junction... Well, let me set this up. Someone decides to use the bus bathroom. Now, there's sort of an unwritten rule with bus bathrooms that if you are going to use it, you do not go number 2. This person did not get the memo. They dropped boulders in Colorado, and the bus stank the rest of the way up the mountain. I'm also getting a little nervous as we're going further up, because I'm like looking out the bus window, and I'm just looking at some of these great views of the mountains and smaller town areas. But I'm also noticing that there are no guardrails, with some kind of steep drops on the other side of them. Not like 50 to 100 foot drops or anything, but steep enough to worry. This is the most bathroom stories for one of these. Yeah, I don't know why shitting became a prevalent theme for this. And we're not done with it, by the way. So, the bus finally arrives in Fairplay. I said Denver's like 5,200 something feet above sea level. Fairplay is 9,900 feet and change above sea level. The air is pretty thin. And there is such a thing as altitude sickness. And that was something that I was worried about. It's something that Casey and Kira were worried about. I mean, Casey and Kira had done this before, so they were kind of used to the environment. I'm from Ohio. The highest point in Ohio, which I have never gone to, is about a little under 1,000 feet above sea level. So, just suddenly going up to that elevation, you can get very lightheaded, you can have trouble breathing. Most places will have like oxygen canisters to like help you deal with the like lower supply of oxygen at those altitudes. You get headaches, you can get woozy. And I get off the bus and I'm feeling okay. Now, I will note that from the bus stop to the hotel where we were staying, it was like 15 minutes of walking away, and we were hauling our luggage with us the whole way. Also, it was really windy. Really, really windy. The temperature actually wasn't bad, but the wind made it significantly worse. But we do make it to the hotel and drop our stuff off. And we will decide to use the toilet because we're about to go out walking. And nobody shat in it, and the toilet's still backed up. And we had to go to the front desk and request a plunger. I don't know.
Ready for orders. Cheers, friends. Not bad.
So once we're past that, we head out and we start walking into more of the town of Fairplay proper. Fairplay is a pretty small town. I think it only has like 1,000 people, which, given the landmass that it covers, is not much. But Fairplay is actually kind of well known for something. And that something is South Park. Now, my exposure to South Park is like picking up on stuff vicariously through Casey and Kira. I do not watch South Park. Like, if it's on in the room, I'll just like occasionally watch and listen to it. But Fairplay is apparently one of the towns that was like part of the inspiration for South Park. And there is in fact like an older like historical town in Fairplay called South Park City. It was closed at the time, but you could still like walk up to it and see like these old buildings and like a setup for a Conestoga wagon and shit. And there were shops around that area too. A bunch of them were closed, but one of the places that was open was a place called South Park Pottery. And it has a ton of South Park merch in it. It also has like various rocks and minerals and sort of Native American style merch. It's also got a South Park museum in it. And you just... Appropriately, the price for the South Park Museum is $3.50. And you can go in there, you can see all this stuff related to the show. They have a setup for all of the South Park video games in there. They have the South Park pinball in there. And you can just go in there and there's no time limit. You can fuck around in there for as long as you want. And I didn't have a whole lot of spending money left with me. But I did get like a sticker for South Park, Colorado. I got a coin for Casa Bonita. And I also got like this mini treasure chest and a couple pieces of opal for my wife. Along the way, we also stopped at this one place that was about to close, but did let us in. Just got some ice cream, some bread pudding, stuff like that. And we walked from there all the way back to the hotel. We dropped off the souvenirs and went back out to this one place called Otto's. We went there on Casey's recommendation because Casey has been in this area quite a few times.
Here. Ready.
Oh, that is going to be a problem. So, Otto's has like a decent variety of food. I saw that they had a pulled pork sandwich, and I'm like, sold. I'm taking it. Now the thing is, we're eating at Otto's, and there's this one employee who, like, Casey has a couple of things on them that are Evangelion themed. And one of them is this like container that has Shinji in the Eva gear on it. And this dude notices it, and he says, "Oh, I just watched Eva." And then Casey spills the beans on who they are. And this dude is just dumbfounded. Because apparently he watched the dub that Casey did. And he thought the voice sounded familiar, but... but yeah, he was like... kind of had his mind blown. And so as we are eating our stuff, Daisy's thinking about that guy working autos who was a big Ava fan. And Casey still had a couple of Shinji prints from the event. And Casey, being Casey, runs back to the hotel, gets a print and a marker, brings it back to Autos, signs it, and gives it to the guy. To say he was appreciative would be an understatement.
Yes?
Not bad.
Okay. So we walk back to the hotel. It's getting dark out. It's kind of chilly, but it's not windy, so it actually wasn't as bad as walking around earlier in the day was. And I will note, particularly during the daylight, there is no bad view in Fairplay. It's in kind of this like little valley, like nestled in between the mountains. So pretty much any direction you face, you're going to have a great view of part of the Rockies. And at this point, I'm still not showing any signs of altitude sickness, which is great, but also leaves like Casey and Kira going, how the fuck are you doing that? So we get back to the hotel, and well, we're back on the shitting theme. So I have to use the bathroom, and following con rules, we say, if you have to go number 2, you do it in the lobby. So I go out of the room to the lobby, and oddly, the doors leading to the public bathrooms are wide open. You can see all the way into both the men's and the women's bathrooms. Also, bit of poor planning for the men's stall. So, when you're sitting on the toilet in there, the crack of the door, which is like a little over half an inch wide, is directly in front of you, and you can see straight into the hallway. So I'll spare you the details, but the long story short is, the toilet backs up. So for the second time, within like a 6-hour stretch, I have to go to the front desk and ask for the plunger again. finally things calm down a little bit. We just like lay in the hotel room and watch either Fresh Prince or South Park all night. As this is going on though, the wind picks up outside again and it is howling past our like hotel window. And that did make it a little bit difficult to sleep. I'll just end the turn and make him walk over here. Oh, you son of a bitch.
What?
Command me.
Let's just end it now.
Ready.
So, Tuesday comes. We have to wake up early so that we can catch the bus leading back into Denver and then catch our flights. I wake up and I am showing telltale signs of dehydration. I had gone a little too long without drinking any water, and at the altitude we were at, I was starting to pay the price for it. So the first thing I did after waking up was immediately go and get some water from one of the vending machines. And once I had some water in my system, it took like half an hour to an hour, but I did start like feeling more like myself again. That was also around the time that I started to really notice the decor in the room that we were staying in. And I mean, I have a few questions, but among them was, why did they have like Silent Hill-esque pictures of foggy, like old cabins and foggy roads on the walls of this place? So we pack up all of our stuff and we haul all of our luggage back to the bus stop at like 8:30 in the morning. It was kind of cold, but it was sunny and it was not windy. And because it was morning, the temperature was starting to go up. So again, still not as bad as the initial walk to the hotel.
Always so cryptic. Can't you just tell us?
Now we're on the bus. We're heading back to Union Station in Denver. I'm sitting all the way at the back, aka right next to the bus's bathroom. I thought like people who would be on this would be prepared, but apparently not, because less than 10 minutes into the ride, someone gets up and goes into the bathroom. And I was thinking, don't do it. Don't do it. Well, he didn't. And that happened another time, where someone gets up, goes into the bathroom. This person takes a noticeably long time, but he didn't like, blow it out the way that other guy did. Now, we get to the Union Station, and immediately everyone just takes a bathroom break. We kind of go in turns so that someone is always looking after our luggage. Because we still have, like, a fair amount of time before we actually need to get to the airport. So we're at the Union Station. I head to the same bathroom where Jerry saw the blowjob carving. Well, blowjob advertisement carving in the stall door. Phrasing. And there are these signs out in front of the stall saying that if you want to use the bathroom, you need to get someone from the security team to unlock the door for you. Which is, I mean, it's a choice. So there's me and there's one other guy who are waiting for this security person to show up. He finally shows up, and he finally shows up and unlocks the door and lets both of us in. Now, I just head for the urinal. This guy goes into one of the stalls, and he's looking a little distressed. And, God, I should not be laughing about this. He, how can I phrase this eloquently? He goes to war with the toilet. Like, I'm just doing my thing, and then from the stall, I can hear him, like, grunting, flushing, grunting again, flushing again. Like, by the time I left the bathroom, he had flushed at least 6 times. I didn't know what was going on in there. I didn't want to know what was going on in there. And in fact, as I am, like, I've left the bathroom completely at this time. And, the door to the bathroom is closed. And we could still hear him grunting and flushing in there. Basically, the one scene from Austin Powers. You know what? Casey said the same damn thing. So, we're back at the Union Station, back in that lounge area. We get some food again before we take the rail to the airport. And we're all kind of tired. Like, we're just trying to relax. There's, like, soft music playing over the speakers. And then a table saw starts up behind us. They were apparently remodeling one of the kiosks that we just happened to be sitting next to. And, yeah, it was kind of hard to relax with that going on. And we were at this place for a fair amount of time. Like, we were not in a huge rush to get back to the airport. Oh, did I mess this up? Okay, I can fix it. I didn't fix it, I made it worse. Time goes by, and I have to use the same urinal as before. The one where I said there was a urinal that was making shitting sounds. It didn't do that this time. Instead, there was a urinal that when somebody flushed it, it played a drum solo. Also, somebody had apparently, like, ripped out the drain of one of them. I'm not sure how they accomplished that. So we... Finally, the time comes, we take the rail to the airport. I don't have, like, the TSA fast check thing. But Casey and Kira do. So we're like, okay, there might be like a bit of a time gap between when like each of us managed to get into the terminal. We had the same airline, so we were going to the same terminal. If we hadn't been like in the same terminal, one of us would have had to like take the tram to a different side of the airport, and it just would have been messy. But thankfully, when I went through the security check, there wasn't much of a line, and it went pretty quickly anyway. So it actually went so fast that I got through security before Casey and Kira did. So we met up in the terminal. It turned out that the gates for our flights were only like 5 gates apart. So we just hung out in the terminal for a bit. Kira and I played some Pokemon Go. I saw there was an Auntie Anne's, and I thought, well, I know what I must do. And eventually the time comes where they have to get on their flight and we say our goodbyes. So I head back over to my gate, and right as I find a place to settle in and wait for my flight to start boarding, I get a message that before they even finished boarding, someone on Casey and Kira's flight just ripped ass and stunk up the plane. Now, as I'm sitting at my gate, I am taking note, as I usually do, of the people who were on the flight. And one of the things I notice... oh, sorry, I lost my train of thought. And one of the things I notice is there's a baby. And the person who has the baby also has a pretty young girl with them, say maybe 3 or younger. And then I notice another person with a girl 3 or younger. And I notice another baby. And I'm trying to figure out how in the hell I'm going to like find a spot on this flight where I do not have to deal with them. I specifically like point out ones that are like 3 or younger, because that's generally the age range where the child does not have an inside voice and is prone to just yelling shit whenever, for whatever reason, or for no reason. Now, there were a couple things working in my favor. One of them is that with the boarding order, I would be going on directly after the people who had like these super young children. Also, the flight was only at 75% capacity, meaning that there would be open seats, so I would have some flexibility for where I could go on the plane to potentially like distance myself from them. So as I'm getting on the plane, I hear the baby and I spot it near the middle of the plane. And like a couple seats behind it, I see the other kids that I noticed before. And I'm like, well, fuck this. Head toward the back. And I actually end up with a window seat. There's nobody in the middle. And there's this one guy sitting by the aisle. And the guy like sitting in the aisle seat, he's a little chatty, but he's not unpleasant. Like, I carry on a conversation with him for a little bit. And then, eventually, he just says, well, I have some work to do, for this nonprofit I'm involved with. And, he takes out a laptop and starts going through documents, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. I need to, like, rest a bit anyway. So I just throw on my headphones, listen to music, and then doze off. The flight ends up going faster than expected, and
I've always thought taking on someone your own size was overrated. Yes, coming through.
now the flight is going faster than anticipated, and in fact, it was like landing 5 minutes sooner than it was originally planned to, because the flight was initially delayed by like 15-20 minutes. I mentioned at one point that like I studied Japanese and was planning to visit at some point. And he throws out a question about like religion in Japan, because he heard that it was like one of the like least religious places. And in my head I'm going, But I like give an answer about what I know about that in Japan. And then he goes like, okay, all right. Then he asks me about Christianity and if I'm practicing. And that's when the alarm bells go off in my head.
Here to serve.
Now look, I don't care what religion anyone practices. All I care about is that you do not, like, force anything on me or attempt to persuade me to get into something religious.
Now what?
So the moment he says this, I play along with it, but I'm not telling him anything that's true. And eventually he's like, well, if you're into this, you could look up like certain types of churches for like this form of practice or this form of practice. I'm tuning all of this out because I do not give a shit. And in my head, I'm just thinking, wow, this started so well, and then instantly took a nosedive. Well, not instantly, because there was that period where, like, I was just kind of asleep on the window, but still.
Ready when you are.
And from there, it was just a matter of getting off the plane, getting my bag. My wife picked me up, got me home. I got sick shortly thereafter. And here we are. That was the Amazing Art Expo.
Command me.
Yes?
What do you want me to do?
This is my turn.
Here.
Precisely, Blondie. Oh, great. Christians. I will keep going with this for a little bit, although I don't want to be up for too much longer. Whew, alright.
On your word.
Away I go.
At your command. To friendship. Jump, jump, jump.
What?
Command me.
Ready.
I have a feeling.
Lovely.
Speak.
Ready for orders.
On your word.
What should I do?
Guy on the right knows how to party. This guy? Or this guy?
Ready.
Yes?
Aye.
But it is him. Well, I mean, he's doing the goblin jig. They're taught that at a very young age.
Oh no!
Yes?
Ready.
Ready.
Hmm.
Not bad.
Eh?
Oh, okay. I didn't realize he had that equipped.
Command me. To victory!
Here.
Now what?
Ready when you are.
You to serve. Not bad.
That's the stuff.
Command me.
Yeah?
On your word.
Here. Ready. What should I do?
Of course he gets the critical when it matters the least.
You can't see me.
What do you want me to do?
Speak.
At your commands.
Ready, I suppose? Oh, get out of the way! Kamikaze, let's go!
Ah, so close to a level. Hmm? I don't know if I have anyone who can actually wear chainmail armor, but good to know nonetheless. Let me make sure there's not one. Oh, there is something. Alright, I'm gonna run back and save. And that'll do it for this. Oh. Alright. Now, once I do equip equipment check, I'm gonna call it.
How may I help?
Ready.
What do you need?
Yeah, none of them can wear that. Damn it. Alright. So, the next time you see me stream, it'll be the Fearless Marathon, which is this weekend. Really hoping to hit the extra goals, but if we don't, oh well. Let me see who else is streaming right now. Let's see. You know what? This is kind of random. Let's raid Ed Bosco. He's playing Blood Omen Legacy of Kain. Oh, thanks for hanging out, guys. And hope I see you at the next one. For the animals. Oh. Twitch just bugged out for me, and it will not let me hit the raid now button. What do I do? Oh wait, I had to open another window so I could actually... Okay, here we go.